The Knicks are trying to get everybody to be their head coach, and or at least they're requesting interviews with every NBA sitting head coach. They're also looking into the college ranks for a couple potential options, and at least one college basketball coach is looking back at them, intrigued, raising an eyebrow, maybe hitting a little winky face. I don't know. Adam Zagoria reports for. I don't know if this is for the New York Times or where. I know he contributes to New York Times and Forbes, but Zags wrote an article here that says John Calipari called the Knicks opening, quote, a hell of a job. And Zags framed this as, does he want the job? Cal's full quotes on this were very, I don't know, just friendly, just very like, it's an awesome opening. It's a greatest city in the world, highest level, great team right now. He certainly is paying attention to what the Knicks will do. My question to you, as our sitting NBA correspondent, Dion, should the Knicks want John Calipari?
Not now. I think there was a point in time where they probably wanted Calipari. I think there was probably a point in time where Calipari wanted them. I think at this point in Calipari's like coaching career, I think an NBA schedule is too brutal for him. I think he needs the relief of only coaching 30 something days, less travel, stuff like that. I think Calipari is on like the tail end of his career. And when you're on the tail end of your career, I don't think you're trying to triple your workload. So I don't think so. I will say this, I think it's interesting the way he spoke about the job, given that he coached the Nets for 4 years. So I wonder if there is some element of like, hey, I coach like little brother in that city. Trust me, that's a Knicks town. Like if you want to coach in New York, the Knicks are where you want to go. So I wonder if it was, also some like subtle shot at the Nets in a weird way. I do want to say the Knicks calling every team and just asking for their head coach is something I've proposed every NBA team should do for pretty much my whole life. And I've always wondered why they don't do it. I now understand why they don't. It's because the other team just says no. I didn't know. Much like the Knicks, I didn't process that as a possibility. I thought it was like, hey, I want to interview your coach. And then they just politely say yes. No, turns out they can say no. So that's tough. But no, I don't think there's too much there between these two. Maybe in 2010 when he took the Kentucky job, or even 2015, but it's too far gone at this point.
I didn't know teams could say no. Like, question from me here: can an NBA team just hire another team's coach without interviewing him?
I feel like that's happened, right?
It
Like there's
has to have happened, right? Like this is like, hey, sir, can I marry your daughter? And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna go elope anyway. You won't be there. Like, they can't stop a coach from leaving.
no, they can. I just remembered the Clippers traded multiple first round picks for Doc Rivers at one point.
This is crazy to me. I don't get it. That's wild. Anyways, but about Cal, not the other guys. I guess Clutch Points, I think, reported that in response to this, the Knicks did have a conversation with Cal already. A member of the Knicks front office spoke with Calipari about the team's head coaching vacancy. It says that the discussions were exploratory in nature. Those discussions concluded that there was nothing to pursue further. Maybe. I'm not saying I don't buy that. I think right now Cal's probably not one of the premier targets, would be my guess. But if they did have a conversation already, I think there's certainly mutual interest. And if you keep striking out on the best coaches you want at the NBA level, at some point you come back to somebody you've got a relationship with. It would be interesting. You mentioned the timing of this, like a decade ago for sure. This team would be interesting for him because obviously he has a relationship with Karl Anthony Towns. I think Cat would be extremely happy about a hire like this and probably unlock the best version of himself in the NBA. With that said, the Knicks don't seem like they're super into hanging on to Cat long term. Like they're floating Cat in Durant conversations and elsewhere. So I don't know that you would necessarily want to hire a Karl Anthony Towns guy right now with the options available to you from a roster building standpoint. More interestingly, with Cal, cannot think of a worse coach culturally or just mentally, emotionally for the Brunson family to partner with. Rick Brunson and Cal, to me, would be awful together. Jalen Brunson, everything he stands for as a player, who he's been as a prospect, what he came through as Villanova into the Knicks, is just so anti everything Cal has stood for as a coach to me. Watching those two together would be a fascinating pair. This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's. That's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
Yeah, so the cat thing is why I don't think it happens. I think the Knicks are looking for a coach that would be willing to part ways with Cat in what I would call an objectively bad trade. Trading Karl Anthony Towns for Kevin Durant, probably not a worse trade you can make, in my opinion. But more power to him. But I think they're looking for a coach that's willing to be okay with that, and I don't think they've found that yet. And Calipari is not going to be that coach. So I think we get to the Calipari part, it just means they struck out on the ability to find somebody that was willing to put up with the trade they really want to make. And now Cal's taking a roster over that this front office doesn't necessarily want. And so the only reason I could see it happening is if Cal knows he has 1 year left and he wants to right the wrongs of what he did with the Nets. And this is just his last dance, it's his last hurrah. I'll give you a year, and then you have the ability to go hire a coach next year, or maybe I give you 2 years, and then 2 years down the line, like you can go get the coach you really want because you struck out on everybody. But if the Knicks hire Cal, it's not for a good reason.
I do agree it would have to be viewed from Cal by Cal as his final stop. And I think right now where we're at, I don't think Cal is close to done at Arkansas. I think he still wants to get to a Final Four at Arkansas and sort of cement that he has this extra legacy that exceeded what he did at Kentucky. He's off to a good start based on what they did in year one. If you're the owner of Tyson Chicken, how do you feel about Cal running around shaking ass for the Knicks?
Um, I think you gotta let Cal be Cal because Cal has quietly and very very quietly. And it's funny because I'm a Mark Pope guy, but Mark Pope has loudly put together a top 10 team, and you would think he did it quietly, but Mark Pope has very loudly put it together. Calipari, who we thought would be loud about it, has very quietly put together a top 10 team.
Ooh, that's an
Very very
interesting
quietly.
point.
And so I think if you're the owner of Tyson Chicken, this is what he needs to do because he did what you guys asked him to do differently coming from Kentucky, whereas play the role of you're just going to quietly do this. You have to let Cal be Cal, though. And I think Cal being Cal is twerking for the Knicks and Lakers jobs.
Yeah. This is maybe the quietest offseason for Cal in a long time. A lot of retention. That's an interesting point. Yeah, I think you're right. You don't hire Cal without letting Cal be Cal. I don't know. If I'm the guy that ponied up the money to get Cal here, ponied up the money for Cal to pay his first group of players, ponied up the money for Cal to bring back guys, and I hear him telling everyone how great the Knicks are, I think I would just be like, what are we doing here? Now again, I think Cal also, even in some of these interviews, was like, yeah, not gonna happen, but it's a great job. So all should be fine in Arkansas world, but we'll see who the Knicks end up with, and we'll see if they circle back to John Calipari at some point.